Hey everyone. Today I'm going to quickly be talking about some advice, if you'll listen to me on top of my soapbox, to the people that are getting out of the military, being a peacetime veteran. So this video is mostly applicable to like a majority of people that were in the military, did one term, whether that's 4 or 5 years, you've gotten out and you're kind of trying to, find your way. Hopefully this video can help you and, whatever. I'll talk about a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is humility. And I think it's the most important thing to kind of preface the video with because it kind of ties into the rest of the points I'll be discussing. When I got out of the military, like many other people, I had a chip on my shoulder, okay? I thought I knew better. I thought that since I had been in the military, I could do anything and it'd be inconsequential, it'd be easy, whatever. This is partially true, but I really want to kind of send home how important it is to really keep this feeling at bay or get rid of it entirely if possible. I'll explain as to why. First off, it is very apparent when you show hubris. I see a lot of memes on social media about veterans going to college, and it's always some stupid shit like, oh, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a fucking trigger puller, I fucking stack bodies, and now I'm in a fucking classroom with 17-year-olds who don't know shit. If you even feel this way at all, I highly recommend that you, as I said, put it to the side or just actively get it out of your head, okay? There's really two reasons as to why. The first reason being that people will notice and it's not going to, people are not going to like, be like, wow, man, that's really cool. Dude, no way. That's so sick. No, people are gonna think you're a fucking douche, okay? And it's just insufferable. Let me frame it like this. Imagine if when you were in the military and you were, an NCO and you had a boot join your unit and they talked to you like that. They came into your unit, your section, whatever it may be, and they started talking about how, oh yeah, man, I just got out of fucking MCT, I just got out of OSID, I just got out of whatever. I fucking, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, you would be like, shut up, man. Okay? It's the same deal, all right? Of course, people are going to be appreciative, right? But what you have to understand is, unless you are talking to another veteran, they will never fully understand what you may or may not have done, so they will never be able to appreciate it, okay? So, with that being said, please remain humble. Another reason why it's really important to do so is because if you are arrogant and you do have a chip on your shoulder and you think you know better, you are denying yourself the opportunity to learn. And I don't mean simply in college, a vocational school, or the workforce. I mean just from people in general. A really nice thing about the military is that you get to work with people from quite literally everywhere across America, right? You get to meet people who you otherwise would have never met. And knowingly or unknowingly, you probably learn some things about the world from them. Okay. The same thing's applicable in college, right? I thought I knew it all. Initially, I went to a community college. I took night classes, and there were people a lot older than me, people who have done a lot more than me, people going through a lot more than me, people who were smarter than me, people who had their shit together more than I did. And I gave up the act and I just fucking listened and I talked and engaged, and it has, you're there, you may as well try to fucking learn something, okay? Instead of acting like it's fucking below you. All right? And the most important thing that you have to recognize too, and I'm not saying that your service was for nothing. You definitely gain certain skills that you otherwise would have not if you had not joined the military, but you may think, "Oh, look at this stupid fucking college freshman, this 17-year-old. Their parents are paying for their tuition. They don't know shit." Well, guess what? You're a college freshman now. You are them. At the end of the day, they're at the same point in the path as you are, okay? So please remain humble. And I'm not saying that to try to frame it as, oh, you need to change who you are. You shouldn't let people know you're a veteran. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is just remain humble and just learn and listen. It will get you so far. And all of the skills that you have acquired in the military will carry you the rest of the way. Okay? Just my opinion, all right? Another thing that I want to talk about is about setting goals and progression. And in the military, it's very streamlined. It's very regulated as to how you progress. You have a required amount of time and grade for your rank. Once you reach that amount of time being that rank, once you meet all the, requisites, you're good to go. You get selected for promotion, you promote, the process repeats, keep going, whatever. Okay? You also have other things that can kind of help you out, whether that's certifications, training, volunteering, whatever it may be. But for the most part, the military tells you, here's what you need to do in order to get to the next step. Pretty straightforward. It's not like that in the civilian world at all. It's the complete antithesis of it. In the civilian world, you are solely responsible for yourself in every aspect, and the foundation of success is determining goals and what you're going to do. It's very difficult to do that, especially considering, a lot of people, I'm generalizing here, but a lot of people who join the military came to that decision point, what am I going to do? And maybe they didn't fully know, so they joined the military, speaking for myself. A good way you can set goals for yourself is by just getting the ball moving. You don't have to have a completely perfect outlined idea of what you want to do like in the military where that's kind of set in front of you and you know exactly what you have to do. It's not like that. And getting the ball moving and just throwing shit at the wall, and I'm not saying like recklessly, like, oh, just fuck it, I'm gonna go learn how to be a welder because I just want, I don't know, like whatever. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. Like, obviously, you probably have some faint idea of what you want to do, and just starting working toward it is going to do one of two things. It's either going to show you that, oh, okay, I really enjoy this, I want to keep doing this, or more importantly, it's going to tell you, wow, I really don't want to do this, and it may even show you something you didn't even know existed. But by actually just gaining that momentum, I think that's a good word to kind of describe it. Establishing momentum is good, okay? Especially when it comes to college. Your job now is to go to college. That is your job. You may have a part-time job, maybe you work a full-time job and then you go part-time at school, whatever it may be. Your job is to go to college. Your rank or whatever tangible, achievement is the degree. Okay? But just getting the ball moving and having a general plan is a big, big deal. It will get you so far. And it's very important to start thinking about this ideally before you get out, if you know you're going to get out. So, anyway, kind of didn't describe that as well as I would have liked to, but I'll move on to the final thing I'll say. The final thing that I will talk about is fulfillment. And I mean, this is like the grand old question. What's the purpose of life? Like, what, why do we do whatever? In the military, once again, you inherently have value because you have been assigned to a position and you fulfill those duties, and it's like a positive feedback loop for the most part. That's a little harder to get on the outside, if I'm being completely honest. But when you do get it, it is much more gratifying because once again, back to the previous point, you determined the steps along the way in the path that, you know, you're going to go down, right? When I first got out personally, it was very weird in the sense that I felt like a loser. I felt like how I felt in high school. Because at the end of the day, sure, I was a veteran. Sure, 5 years honorable service in the United States Marine Corps, but I didn't have a degree. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any, experience in any kind of applicable field. I felt like a loser, and that's very common. A lot of veterans, I think an inaccurate way that I think there's levels to it. I think there's a social aspect to it. I think that there's a professional aspect to it, and then there's kind of a personal aspect to it. Socially, I see it framed as like, well, I got out of the military. I can't talk to my coworkers or my friends about being gay or fucking women or whatever. Like, I can't do that. It's like socially reprehensible. Sure, yes, but also at the same time, this is kind of just being like being a human. Like, you just have to kind of like, once again, I'm not saying don't be yourself, but time and place, know your crowd kind of deal. You'll definitely meet people like that. Um, I guess I definitely don't. I don't think you're gonna unless you go into an occupation similar to the military, like a police force or a fire department. You're probably not gonna get that like trauma bonding, and you're not gonna have those very intimate, fraternal relationships that you'd get from the military. But that's not really the point I'm trying to make, though. The social aspect is not really what I want to harp on. What I really want to talk about is more so the uh, professional and directly personal aspects. Personally, like I kind of talked about, you feel like a loser a little bit when you get out of the military. I'm not gonna lie. At least I did. I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting here. Felt a little bit like a loser, right? Because I didn't have anything tangible. I didn't have a job. I didn't have fucking shit, like I didn't have like a resume with like, oh, I've done this, this, and that. I have a degree. I studied economics and blah blah. Like I didn't have like you don't have that when you get out. You don't have shit. You do have, the DD-214, and I do have, but once again, that is the cherry on top. Like it's just a cherry. Like it's not the whole fucking Sunday, bro. Like it's something that you throw on at the very end that like sets you apart, and it will set you apart. But at the end of the day, you got to go fucking scoop that ice cream, bro. You have to remember, most importantly, that nobody cares when you cross the finish line. When I first entered college, I constantly thought about, fuck, man. Well, if I start now, I'll graduate with my bachelor's at 27 or whatever. I think I'll be 27 when I graduate. 26, whatever. It doesn't matter. When people ask you if you went to college, oh, yeah, I did. They're not going to ask, oh, well, how old were you when you graduated? Nobody fucking cares, man. Okay? People don't care when you did something, they care that you've done it for the most part. So please keep that in the forefront of your mind. If you ever get those feelings of doubt that, well, fuck, man, I'm already this, no point in doing that. No point. Well, I don't want to be a doctor. If I go to try to be a physician, I'm going to have to be in school for 8 years. I'm going to be 33. Bro, I promise you it does not matter. I promise you it does not matter. Okay? I don't know. Like, I can't convince you, but like I said, really just think about it from someone on the outside looking in, if you meet somebody and they say, "Oh, I'm a doctor," or "Oh, I do this, I do that," it doesn't have to be something super prestigious, but they're not going to be like, "Oh, like you started doing that at this age." And if someone did tell you that, would you care? Probably not. And if you do, that's a whole nother thing. But please keep that in your mind, man, and use that as motivation to keep that momentum going, keep the ball rolling, and don't quit. You can shift plans, but don't quit. And then, personally, how do you feel fulfilled? You don't have this great, grandiose, ulterior motive. In the military, you're serving something that is greater than yourself. You know, you are defending the sovereignty of America, you're securing its interests, whatever it may be. You no longer have that. I think the way to do it, and it's really the greatest thing that we had in the military, whether or not we recognize it, is friends and family. Ideally, you have a good relationship with your family. I understand that a lot of people aren't afforded that opportunity, but if you do, work on building that back up. I'm not saying you got to make up for lost time, but you will derive fulfillment from your family, your friends, and get a hobby. I'm not going to go on a long rant about this, but I'm a war gamer. I build models, I paint models. I got Darth Vader right here, you know? Anyway, not only will that give you something that you can create and will satiate that part of your mind, it will also probably get you into a community. You get out of the military, let's say you move back somewhere that isn't your hometown where you don't have hometown friends. Maybe your hometown friends suck. Having a hobby will kind of network you. It will put you in front of people that, once again, may not be similar to you, but you have that thread of commonality between you. I play miniature war games. I go to a game day. I go to a tournament. I meet people who I would have never met otherwise. We have nothing similar. We become friends. Why? Because we have that fun, we have that plank that we can build the rest upon. Okay? So, with all that being said, be humble, establish momentum, keep it going. Don't worry about when you cross the finish line, just cross it. Be good to your family, get a hobby, make new friends, and most importantly, if you are struggling seriously, reach out to a professional, reach out to a friend, reach out to me. But sorry for the long video. I hope that somebody finds it that really needs it, and maybe a few of the things I said help them. So, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.